I decided to do my movie adaptation based on the play Antigone, and the title that I came up with was Annabeth the Tragic Heroine. So this slide is just about some background information on Antigone and the author. So Antigone is part of the Oedipus trilogy, and it's technically the third play, but it was the first written. And the rest of these points are just kind of facts about the author and Thebes. Again, this is just another background information slide, just facts about the author that's not necessarily connected to my movie adaptation. It's just some interesting facts about his life. This slide is just going to be a brief overview of the play. So this play is Antigone, and it takes place in ancient Greece in the city of Thebes. This play follows Antigone and the actions that she takes that end up leading to her own death. So Antigone is a strong-willed, loyal woman who always puts her family first, even when the king of Thebes, Creon, like her own uncle, forbids her from burying her brother. She feels as though that she has no other choice but to defy his orders and give her brother a proper burial. And when Creon finds out about Antigone's attempts to bury her brother, he's not very happy with the decisions that she makes. So he sentences her to her execution, even after everybody has like plead him not to do it and that he's making the wrong decision, which he did. Not only does this obviously end up leading to Antigone dying, it also ends up leading to Creon's son and wife killing themselves. So everything did not end very well for Creon. This slide is just about the background on the previous plays. The first one is Oedipus Rex. It's about the king Oedipus and his fate, and how he's destined to kill his father and marry his mother. He did try to prevent the prophecy, but it ended up still happening by the end of the play, and he's appalled by himself that he ends up blinding himself. The next one in the trilogy is Oedipus in Colonus. It follows the blinded Oedipus who is being guided by Antigone after he was exiled from Thebes. While Oedipus' exile, conflict continues to rise in Thebes in between Antigone's two brothers, Polynices and Eteocles, which Antigone ends up having to deal with, and then we're at the next play, Antigone. So the plot of the play, the peripeteia is when Creon begins to lose power as the king of Thebes, and the Agonoris is when the chorus comes and tells Creon that yes, she brought this charge against you as she died. You're to blame for his death and the other boys too. Basically, it's just Creon's wife blaming him for her death and her son's death. And the Hamartia is when Creon doomed Antigone as Ismene in order to help Thebes. This just led to his downfall at the end of the play. The chorus in Antigone is just the council of elders in Thebes, and they comment on the action of the play and give background information. They don't actually participate in the action. So characters I decided to keep in the movie adaptation. First of all, Antigone. Obviously, I'm keeping her because she is the main character. The play's named after her, and she has a major effect on the plot. Some personality traits: she's strong, fearless, loyal, and passionate. The next character I decided to keep was Creon because he made major decisions in the play that greatly affected the plot. So I felt like he was an important character to keep throughout the play. Some personality traits of his is he's ignorant, rude, and values political and social order over all else, and refuses to listen to other people's opinions and advice. Ismene would also be another character that I wanted to keep because she's the one who tries to get Antigone not to go through with the burial for Polynices because she doesn't want to disobey Creon and have to deal with the consequences of disobeying him. Some personality traits of Ismene is that she's fearful of authority and she's a typical good girl in the play. Last character I would keep is Tiresias, the blind prophet. The reason I would keep him in the movie adaptation is because he speaks for the gods, and he's the one to give Creon his prophecy and warn him nothing good will come from decisions that he's making and by defying the gods. So one of the major symbols in the play Antigone was her stone tomb. In a way, it represents her loyalty towards her family and how she always put them first. The quote that I thought fit this the best was, "My tomb, my marriage, my hollow, scraped in dirt, I'm coming home forever to be held in with my own people, most of them dead now." So even in death, she still puts them first. She's still loyal to them. But to Creon, it's his attempt to restore law and order by giving Antigone a punishment that fits her crime. And his quote was, "Leave her alone, deserted, let her die if she wants, or else live there in her grave if she feels at home there." Another symbol that I found was like money equals corruption. This is mentioned multiple times throughout the play from Creon because he would rather believe others are trying to work against him rather than take like their advice. And this state of mind is what causes Creon's life to take a downward spiral. One of the quotes was, "I'm absolutely sure who used bribes to lead our watchmen astray into this crime. Money is the nastiest weed to sprout in human soil." This is when like the watchmen came back and told him that somebody had buried Polynices. Like they thought that Creon thought that they were working against him, basically. And the other one was prophecies. All your tribe wants is to make money. He was accusing Tiresias of just being in it for the money, basically, and he wasn't telling the truth. Last symbol I'm going to talk about is the use of birds throughout the play. In the play, birds are scavengers, protectors, and are connected to the prophecy. So one of the quotes I found was, "Gone before plunging his beak in our blood." The chorus is talking about Polynices as if he's a predator who's attacking the land of Thebes like a screaming eagle. The next quote is the Watchmen when they found Antigone burying Polynices. She gave a shrill cry like a bird when she sees her nest empty and her bed deserted where her nestlings had lain. This slide is just continuing on about how birds are used in a symbolic way in the play. Moving on to themes, one of the themes in this play is respect for death, or the lack of it. Creon lacks respect for death. The reason how he's doing this is by not allowing Polynices to have a proper burial. Therefore, like disregarding the gods' wills. Where Antigone wants to honor their laws and give Polynices a proper burial. She has the proper respect for death, where Creon does not. And below is just a quote that I found from a scholarly article that I felt fit this theme. So another theme that I see in this play is gender roles and how Antigone and Ismene react differently to the norms, where Antigone tries to defy these stereotypical gender roles, where Ismene kind of plays into them and basically obeys men and never retaliates against them. Last thing that I'm going to talk about is man-made law versus divine/natural law. This mainly applies to Creon when he tries to put his own power above the gods. Antigone does try to like intervene and like basically go against the laws that Creon is making to ensure that Polynices has a proper burial. And that's just kind of what the quote down below says again. Getting to the movie adaptation part, first the setting. I would want my movie to like be filmed in France because of the architecture they have there. France is known for like a lot of their Gothic architecture, and the specific style makes it still feel old-timey, but there's way more detail to it, the style, and a lot of them look like castles, which I think is fitting considering it's the royal house of Thebes. And I just love the detailing and artwork that a lot of these cathedrals have. I think it's very beautiful. New characters. So my new character's name will be Alicia. The reason I'm picking this name is because it stands for a woman who is loyal and protective, just like how Antigone is. The actress I would pick to play my character is Gal Gadot. I think that's how you say her name. Because in a lot of the movies she has starred in, she plays a very strong, feminine, and loyal individual. And she was Wonder Woman, who's a feminist icon. Next character's name would be Alexandra. This character will portray as Mene, and the reason I selected this name is because its Greek origin and meaning is defending men, which I think is very fitting for her, considering that she does not like to disobey men at all. And the actress I picked to play my character is Alexis Blendl. I don't know how to say her last name either. The reason I picked her is because I feel like a lot of the roles she has played in, she's always portrayed as innocent, um, rule following and docile woman. Okay, so for the prophet, I said his name would be Zeno. I picked this because in Greek it means Zeus's gift or God's gift, which I found fitting considering the prophet speaks to the gods. For my actor, I picked Ian McKellen. The reason I picked him was for his role in Lord of the Rings. He plays Gandalf, who's an enlightened individual, and he has godlike knowledge. Lastly, representing Creon will be Cain, meaning warlike. This also um, is a biblical figure who ruthlessly murders his own brother. And the actor I chose was Donald Sutherland for his previous role in Hunger Game. He played Snow, who is controlling, manipulative, and a tyrant who has no regard for others' opinions, just like Creon. Okay, so for my new plot, I want my main character, Annabeth, to be the person who we focus on the most in the events that lead to her death. I don't really want to include Cain's downfall that much. I want the movie to focus on her motives and rebellion against Cain. I just kind of want him to be like an afterthought. Like what happens to him is not the main event. Um, and Annabeth doesn't really have a peripeteia or Agonor's, but she does face Marcia. Her fatal flaw. It's basically just her loyalty and love for her family, which causes her death too. My new symbols, death is still going to be one of the symbolic elements I include in the movie adaptation because Annabeth is still risking her life for her family because she's loyal to them even once they are dead. Even when faced with death, she always picks to love and be loyal to her family. So I feel like this is still very important symbolic thing that needs to be included in the movie adaptation. Also, another symbol is going to be Annabeth's brother's unburied body, because this is a symbol of conflict that arises between Annabeth and Cain. Um, this symbol can also be related back to the theme of human law versus God's law, because Cain is still deliberately defying the gods. Well, Annabeth honors the gods. Okay, my adapted themes, I didn't change up the themes that much because I wanted to kind of still stick to the original play. With the movie, I didn't want to make any drastic changes. So the first theme was gender roles slash stereotypes and place for women. I want to kind of stick to this theme, but kind of go more into feminism and the lack of feminism and how Annabeth embodies the female rage, um, and just feminism in general. And the next one was respect for death. I don't really think that that needed to be adapted because Annabeth is still gonna respect her brother's death and the gods' will and want to give him a proper burial. So yeah. And for the last theme, it was about how Cain thinks that his laws are above the gods. I do want this in the movie adaptation too, but I want my main character Annabeth to kind of like object more to him and kind of defy him more and I don't know, just be more aware and respect that the gods' will is far more powerful than simple beings. So yeah. I did select two songs for the movie adaptation. The first one is Mad Woman by Taylor Swift. Some of the lyrics from this is no one likes a mad woman, you made her like that, and I'm taking my time because you took everything from me. I think this song is very fitting for Annabeth, especially if she directed it towards Cain because he did take some of the most important things away from her and made her suffer. And the next one is Oh Anna by Mother Mother. And some of the lyrics will I'll play God, I'll play God, I'll play God today, and I'll fake God today. Faking this God, it can't be good for Anna's safety. I think this song is also very fitting for Cain because he puts his laws above the gods, and so basically he's faking God. And then it can't be good for Anna's safety. This is very fitting for that because him putting his laws above the gods is what leads to Annabeth's death. So